Greetings to everyone. Let me just welcome you to the first video that will be posted on this technical join channel. Now, the the purpose of this channel is to provide valuable content on how to use the AutoCAD software from a beginner's level to a professional level. In addition, um, I will be demonstrating to you how to complete joins from the CSEC technical joins syllabus along with other joins that I will be completing. All right, so let's get right into it. Now, as we all know, AutoCAD is a software that aids in designing, right? So it makes it a lot easier than when you're using regular T-square, set square, pencil, eraser, and all that, right? So AutoCAD makes it much easier since it's a computer-aided software. Say for example, you join a line, you just need to click line in AutoCAD or type line and enter the measurement for your line and you get your line. But if you are using T-square set squares, you would have to get a T-square, a pencil, of course, paper, ensure that you line up the T-square on the text perfectly, ensure that your pencil is well sharpened and all that. But with AutoCAD, it's much easier. So let's just run through a few basic stuff before we get into the whole drawing and all that. Now, what I normally start out with when teaching persons about AutoCAD is the different parts of the AutoCAD screen, right? And on this image, I know that you're seeing quite a few parts. Starting from the top, we're seeing the application button, quick access toolbar, title bar, start tab, file tab, the ribbon, join area, of course. The join area is the biggest area on the AutoCAD interface. We've seen in-canvas control, user coordinate system, navigation bar, view cube, command line, status bar, and the workspace switching menu. We also have the navigation bar here to the right. All right, so those are just some different parts of the AutoCAD screen. Now, this is an image that I'm showing. So let's go to the actual program now to see if we can identify these parts. So the first part that I want us to look at is the application button. And the application button is located in the top left-hand corner of the screen. All right, so this big A that you're seeing, that's the application button. I must also mention that you have different versions of the AutoCAD program. The one that I'm using is AutoCAD Architecture 2022, but in other versions there isn't much of a difference really, if you ask me. So all the different parts, they will be located at the same place or similar in a similar location. All right, so application button in the top left hand corner. If I click the button, the arrow, sorry, beside the application button, I'm seeing stuff like new, open, drawing utilities. So if I want to create a new drawing, I'll select new. Open is if I had a drawing before and I want to open it. Right? So if I'm in the AutoCAD program and I had a drawing that I was working on before, I could click open and then it will take me to File Manager for me to select a file. All right, so I would just select a file that I had already and open that file. Now, if I want to create a new file, I will click new. And then when I click new, it will ask me to select a template if I am creating a file for the first time. All right. So that's what the application button. Those are some of the stuff we see in the application button. Now, the quick access toolbar is located beside the application button. And the word quick, I want you to pay attention to the word quick. All right, so I'm just gonna hover over these icons and you look to see what each of them mean. So the first one is saying new, second one is saying open, the next one is saying open from web and mobile. Now, when I go back to the application button, we're seeing new and we're seeing open. So right away, you will see that the quick access toolbar is really an easier way to access the options in the application button. All right, so look again, new, open, and then I'm putting the cursor on the icons here, new, open. All right, so the quick access toolbar is just an easier way to find the options that are there. All right, another part of the AutoCAD screen is the ribbon. Now the ribbon is this rectangular section that you're seeing at the top here. All right, this is the rectangular section. That's the ribbon. And if you realize the ribbon has different sections, for example, we're on home, right? We're on home, and on home we have a draw section, we have a modify, annotation, layers, blocks, property, group, utility, clipboard. All right, so different sections. And when we go in insert, oh, I'd have to create a join first before I can go in any other. All right, but let me go ahead and create a join so we can observe the other parts. All right, so I'm just gonna click new from there. Or if just for teaching purpose, let me go from the application button. So when I click new from the application button, it will ask me to select a template. And the template that I use would be AEC Model Global CTB. All right, that's the option that I use. Now, once I open a new drawing, then you are able to see the additional parts of the AutoCAD screen. So we looked at application button, we looked at quick access toolbar. Let's just look at another thing on the application button. So initially, when we did not have a drawing, we were only seeing new and open. But now we're seeing save, save as, import, export, publish, print, join utilities. All right, so we went through new, we went through open. Save is pretty much self-explanatory. So if I create a join and I want to save it, I'll click save. Right? For save as, this is when you already have a drawing and you want to save it as something else, or you want to save it in a different location. That's when you use save. All right. Import, this is when you want to bring something from another location into AutoCAD, or when you want to bring another file into AutoCAD, you can import it. Export, when you want to send out whatever you have drawn, you will use export. All right, print, pretty much self-explanatory. So in another video, when we start drawing and all that, we'll explore the publish and the print options. All right, and just as I explained before, quick access toolbar pretty much a shortcut to what's in the application button. Now for the ribbon, we have different sections. So we have home, and I mentioned that on the home section here, on the home tab, you have different sections like draw, modify, annotation, layer, blocks, properties, etc. Now, if I go to insert, you'll see a couple more sections, right? We're not going to really pay attention to those as yet, as we just want to focus on the basics. All right, annotate, we have text dimensions, center lines, and stuff like that. Well, let's focus on home. So those are some of the things that you will find in the ribbon. All right. Now, the next part, let's look at the title bar. Now, the title bar is located at the top of the screen here, where you see AutoCAD Architecture 2022, Drawing 3. So that's the title bar. So whatever drawing you have open, you will see the name of that drawing up there. All right. The title bar and the file tab, which is this part of it, works hand in hand. So if you're seeing drawing 3 here, you will be seeing drawing 3 up here. All right, let me go ahead and save this as another name, and then you will see what happened. To save this now, what would I do? I'll go to application button and click save. When I click save, it will ask me where do I want to save the object? Where do I want to save the file? Sorry. Let me save it in documents. All right, I'm going to save this as trial 1. trial one hyphen my name. All right, so there I have it. So once I select the location, which is documents, I'll just click save. If you wanted to save it on a flash drive, all you need to do, insert the flash drive in the computer and you'll see the flash drive coming up somewhere here. Click on the flash drive and then you press save. All right, so look at this. The name changed in the file tab and it also changed in the title bar. All right, so it changed in the file tab, that's this, and it changed in the title bar. All right, so we looked at application button, quick access toolbar, title bar, file tab. Beside the file tab you have start, and that's where we were before. We were at the start tab. All right, and you can always move between either one of them. Another thing to note is that you can have more than one drawings open at a time. So this plus beside here, because I already selected a template that I want to work with, I can just go ahead. If I need an additional drawing, I can go ahead and click the plus. Once I click the plus, then a blank drawing will come up, and it will give me a name, drawing plus a number. The reason why you're seeing drawing 4 here is because I have 3 other drawings saved on my computer. One as drawing 1, one as drawing 2, one as drawing 3. So this one comes as drawing 4. Alright, I do not want to save this, so all I do is close it. No. Alright, so let's move on. Now, the most obvious part of the AutoCAD screen is the drawing area, and that's the grid area that you're seeing here. This is a drawing area, and interesting fact about this drawing area is that the space in the drawing area is infinite. All right, meaning it cannot finish. So you can actually put a million drawing on this one file in this one space. The only disadvantage is that the more drawing you put on in the file is the heavier the file will be. So the file size will increase based on the amount of drawing that you put in it. All right. With that said, let us move to another part. Now let us look at the command line. The command line is this white area that you're seeing at the bottom of the screen. Now, the command line allows you to input commands in the program, or you tell the program what you want to do. And you have two ways that you can input a command. You can look for the icon. For example, I want to draw a line. Right? I look for the icon, I click it, and then the command line always tells you what to do, or it asks you questions. So look at this. When I click line, the command line asks me to specify the first point. If this is my first point, if this is where I want the first point, all I need to do is to click, move the line in the direction that I want it. Command line asks me to specify next point. If this is where I want it to end, then I click there, press escape to detach the line from the line that I drew. All right, so that's how you do it. Now, I could have typed line, line, press enter, and it would still ask me to specify my next point, specify my first point. So if this is where I want to start the line, then I click on the end point, move it in a direction, and then all I do is to click again. Now look at this. You realize the line is not coming off the line that I drew just now. So all I need to do is to press the escape button. Once I press the escape button, then it will detach itself from the line. All right. So that's how it works. If I need a circle, I can click circle up here, specify where I want the circle, specify the radius of the circle, and then I see the circle that I draw. All right. I could type CIRCLE, enter, specify where I want the circle, specify my radius, and there I have my circle. All right. So that's how you use the command line. All right. Another section, let's look at another section. Let's look at the status bar. Now, the status bar is this section that you're seeing down here at the bottom of the screen, where we see model, and then we see uh, display join grid, snap to join grid. Personally, when I'm drawing, I turn these off. All right, but it's preference. It's based on preference. I turn the grid off. All right, so you can know if you want to turn the grid off or not. Model allows you to move between model space and paper space. All right, so the paper space is where you sheet your drawings, where you set up to put your drawings on paper. All right, so we'll get to that further down. So these are the first two: display join grid and snap to grid points. I'm not using those, so I turn these off. Now the next thing that we have here is dynamic input. Now the way dynamic input works, I want you to pay attention to this. I started the line command, click where I want the line, and I move my crosshair. And then in the middle there, you're seeing that blue section with the numbers, right? Dynamic input allows me to see the numbers as I am about to draw a line or draw a figure, right? So when it's on, I'm able to see that. Look at this though. When I turn it off and I click line, you realize I'm not seeing it. All right. So I always ensure that my dynamic input is on when I'm drawing so that I can see the measurement or the distance, the length that I'm using when I'm drawing. All right. That's how dynamic input works. The other function that we have down here is ortho mode. Now, ortho mode allows us to draw angles at 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270, all the way back to 360. Pay attention to this. If I click line and I click in the drawing space, I can move this line all the way around. I can move it 360. But pay attention to this. Once I click ortho mode, I'm able to move it at, this is 0 degrees, this is 90 degrees, that's 180, that's 270, all the way back around to 360. An interesting thing about AutoCAD measures angles in an anti-clockwise direction. So starting at 0, this is 90, this is 180, this is 270, this is 360. All right, so the ortho mode allows us to do that. So if I want to draw a straight line, I can ensure that I have my ortho mode on, and then I would input my measurement in the direction that I want the line. So if I want a horizontal line, I move it to the horizontal direction, put input my measurement, and then I press enter. If I want a vertical line, move it to the vertical position, input the measurement, and then you press enter. All right, so that's how we use ortho mode. The next one is polar tracking. Polar tracking now is a little bit different. The polar tracking, it has a set of angles that are embedded inside of the program. So if you're drawing something with angles of 50 degrees increments, right, you can press the arrow beside polar tracking icon and select 15, 30, 45, because you're doing a drawing with angles of 15 millimeter, 15 degrees increments. Sorry. So look at this. Uh, I have this straight line here, and pay attention to this. When I turn on polar tracking, you realize I'm seeing these green lines. All right, I'm seeing these green lines as guides. Now, if you're not seeing the green line, you can go to tracking settings and then polar tracking. And then you go to object snap tracking settings, and you say track orthogonally. All right. And then polar angle measurement should be absolute. All right. So that's what we doing. All right. So this is 0. If I move up, I'm seeing 15. I move up a bit more, I'm seeing 30. And the green lines are there as a guide. So it's showing me that from here, all right, from there, this is 15 degrees. From here, this is 30 degrees. And from here, this is 45 degrees. All right, so that's 15 degrees increment. Sorry, look at this one. I'm drawing from 30. All right, I have a straight line there. Start my line command. That's 30. So once you move it up, you'll see the angle that is there. That's 60. So after 60, we'll get 90. All right, so that's how the tracking works. Uh, beside it, beside polar tracking, we have uh, object snap tracking. We also have object snaps. Let's pay attention to object snap. For object snap, for the object snap, this is helpful when you're drawing an object on another. So for example, I have this line. All right, I have this line and I want to draw something at the endpoint here. If object snap is turned off and I'll say, all right, I want the line here. If I click draw my line, I think everything is fine. All right, but if I zoom up, I realize that the lines are not really connected. So all I need to do is to turn on my object snap. Object snaps, then I look for endpoint. I normally ensure that I have the endpoint on, midpoint on, center, perpendicular, and intersection. Those are the ones I ensure that I have on. So look at this now. If I click line, move it to the endpoint, you see this green box, right? So it's snapping on the endpoint of the line. And a little box come up telling me that it's the endpoint. Once I click, I can draw my line. All right, draw my line and I realize that yes, it is connected to the end. If I want to draw something in the center, if I want to draw something in the center, all I need to do is to move it closer to the center. And once I see the triangle coming up, I know that it's a midpoint. So that's how the object snaps work. Let me see what else. Now the scale is important. Please ensure that you draw in a scale of 1 to 1. And then whenever you're putting it on the paper, that's when you will determine the scale that you'll use in order to fit it on the paper. All right. We also have the workspace switching menu here. You can change between drafting and annotation to 3D modeling or 3D basics. But what we're starting out with is drafting and annotation. All right, so those are a few parts of the AutoCAD screen. Another part I want to show you is the navigation bar. So the navigation bar is this is the part over here. If you're not seeing the navigation bar, all you need to do is to go to view and then you click this icon here in order to find it. Now on the navigation bar you have this hand. All right, this hand is called pan, allows you to move the entire drawing space. It also has option that allows you to zoom. But what I will recommend is for you to get a wireless or a corded mouse, as it will allow you to be better able to move around and manipulate the AutoCAD screen. If I want to zoom and I have a mouse, all I need to do is to scroll. Use the scroll wheel and move it up or down, and I will zoom in or out. If I want to move the AutoCAD screen, all I need to do is to press and hold, press and hold the center part, that's the scroll wheel, and you see the hand coming up. So instead of going over here to click the hand every minute with the touchpad, that is going to take a lot of time, and it's a bit technical to use, right? So I will suggest getting a wireless or a corded mouse. All right, so that's it for the first video on getting started with AutoCAD. I hope you learned something from this video, and stay tuned for the next one. In the next video, I will be showing you how to set up your drawing units, and preparing yourself to draw. All right, see you in the next video.